podcast, bringing you Barely Watched podcast featuring Lester Wiltfong Jr. Lester, how are you feeling today, my good sir?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Two barely washed in again a few days here, man.
Yes,
We're
sir.
ready. We're ready.
Yes, sir. Who would have thunk, right? Who would have thunk?
Right, exactly.
Now, as before we get ready to get started, let's say before we get deep in, just tell us a little bit about what happened on that Black Friday game. Because, like I told you, a couple weeks in a row, they always said the next couple wins will tell us a lot. Oh, do you win against Minnesota? No, 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 no. The next week you beat Steelers. No, 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 no. The next week when you face the Super Bowl champs. So we go into Italy and into Philly and handle business. Now all of a sudden it's no, 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 no. When you guys play the Packers, that's what will tell us a lot. Tell us what you saw, Lester, and how the Bears were able to emerge victorious.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Philly fans now that's saying that the game was nothing. Oh, the Philly's down this year, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Dude, I don't care, man. Look, you play who's on your schedule.
Hmm.
The Bears are winning. Look, next week's game is going to be huge, right? In Lambeau, another game. The Bears won't be favored to win that game either, but that's fine. So what? This team is in a really good place right now. First winning record since 2018.
Hmm.
First 5 game win streak since 2018. It's just so much different with the Ben Johnson era and what he's doing here with the offense and the defense is playing good. So, look, as a Bears fan, look, I'm happy right now where this team is. It's in a really good place. It's going to be tough on Sunday, obviously next week with the Packers, but first place Chicago Bears. Let's go.
And you got to remember, Lester, a lot of fans have to remember too. This is only year one of the rebuild
Yeah.
under the Ben Johnson regime. And like I said, everyone counted the Bears out, myself included. I said, "Oh, I'll be happy with 5 to 6 wins as long as we're seeing progression, as long as we're seeing Caleb take that next step, as long as we're seeing that we hired the right coach, we have a competent staff. I'll be happy with 5 to 6 wins." And I must say, they shut me up really quick and they blew my expectations out of the water.
Yeah, I think I had them for 9 or 10 wins as my prediction. I just wanted to see. Yeah, look, I knew they were not a 5 win team last year. That team last year was much better than the record. The coaching let that team down.
Mhm,
And I knew that when they got more competent coaching, they would be better. Um, so I figured, 9 or 10 wins in NFC, and that might get you in the playoffs, right? But
mhm,
now it looks like hell. That may not be enough. The NFC is pretty hard this year. It's a tough.
yeah,
Yeah, the Bears are in first place in the North, but you got the Packers right there. The Lions, even though they lost on Thanksgiving, they're still right there. Rams, Seattle. There's the 49ers. So it's a
mhm,
tough wild card in the NFC this year. Whereas years past, yeah, if you get 9 wins, 10 wins is a lock. Ten
mhm,
wins is not a lock anymore. So the Bears got to keep taking care of business. And here's the cool thing: the Bears control their own destiny. Right? They're in a
yes,
place
sir.
now where you just win, keep winning. If you keep winning, you're in. That's all they have to do.
Mhm. Now with their schedule of what 5 games left, so what is it? They have Green Bay, San Fran, Green Bay, Cleveland, and then Detroit, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Out of those 5 wins, Lester, like about how many wins do you think they can maybe squeeze out of there?
Look, when it comes to Packers, look, of course we want to see them kick the Packers' ass. That's what we
Hmm.
always want to see. But if you could split the Packers, I think you're content. If
Hmm.
that's what you get, that's fine. I think they can beat the Browns. The
Hmm.
Browns have a fantastic defense, but I trust Ben Johnson when it comes to facing a tough defense. They got to figure out a way to stop Miles Garrett because he is a
Hmm.
game wrecker. But I think they can win the Browns game. I think they're better than the Lions are right now. Obviously, that wasn't the case early in the year, but these
Hmm.
teams are in two different places right now. And I think that right now the Bears will beat the Lions in that final game, and then the Niners. That Niners game is going to be huge. That's a very well coached team, a very
Hmm.
good team, and I think that game can kind of go either way. But worst case scenario, I think you're looking at the Bears can get 3 wins in these last five.
That's crazy. That
Let's go. Come
and
on.
like you said, against that 49ers team, hey, that could be who you play in the playoffs if you were to make it as well too. So it's like you don't want to take any of these games for granted. You want to fill these teams out, especially when you got Detroit, Green Bay, because you never know who you can see in the playoffs. Again, as you said, and don't quote me, I might not be wrong, but I thought that the Vikings they're technically still not out of it just yet.
Yeah, they're still in. The only team that's eliminated in the NFC is the Giants. Everyone else is technically in, but yeah, it's not
Hmm.
in. But yeah, I mean
Yes, sir.
the Rams are looking good. The
Hmm.
Seahawks are looking good. The Niners are looking good. It's a very tough division, the
Hmm.
West, but So is the North with the Bears, Packers, and Lions. I mean, the
Yes,
Lions.
sir.
Look, I was surprised the Packers beat them on Thanksgiving in their house, but
Mhm.
the Packers. I was on my show earlier today, a little while ago. We were talking about this 2 or 3 weeks ago. Packer fans are like, "Oh, we got to fire the head coach.
Mhm.
LaFleur stinks. Get rid of him." And then it's like, what are you doing? That just tells you Packer fans don't know ball right there.
Mhm. And that's crazy. Well, what's crazy is too, Lester. Obviously, us getting ready to face Green Bay within the same 3 weeks, it can go either way. Like let's say we do lose this upcoming Sunday, December 7th, not this Sunday tomorrow, but December 7th. Don't forget, you got them in 2 more weeks too, and a lot can change in those 2 weeks as well too, and taking it back to the Packers losing to Detroit on Thanksgiving. Not saying it to be like that, but you gotta remember, Amon-Ra did go down during that
Yeah,
game as well too. Obviously, they're still next man up mentality, but that was a huge gut punch to them as well, losing their number 1 just like that.
yeah, it was a tough game for them, but the Packers are a good team. It'll be tough, but man, the Bears, the way they manhandled the Eagles, right? I don't think anybody expected that. I mean, yeah, it would have been nice. Everyone, oh yeah, the Bears are going to win this, but I don't know how many people actually believe they had a really, really good chance. Like I told you when we did our show a day or two ago, when I did the podcast with the Philly guys, he's like, yeah, the Eagles are. I'm worried about this game. So he was giving the Bears a little more respect than I thought. Some fans would, but yeah, I mean the Bears bullied them like
Yeah.
in the trenches. I mean, when's the last time the Philadelphia Eagles were just pushed around? And
Man,
it
dude, the
was been a
Bears
long
offensive
time.
line. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you just tell us a little bit about from Ben Johnson's scheme standpoint? What was it that he was going for with him being able to open up the holes that he was able to open up with that offensive line?
Yeah, I think that the cool thing is you watch back the film and there was like so many things that happened behind, like not just the line. Of course, I liked what the line was doing, the outside zone.
Mhm.
They were moving people, but you watch what they do with the shifts and the motions, with the pre and the post snap movement. They're making those linebackers really think. Like they have a lot of stuff they have to look at.
Mhm.
Let's take that goal line touchdown, for example, to Manangai. They shift the tight end over and then they motion a tight end over. And then on the snap, they fold both those guys back, kind of pulling over there through the hole. So it's like kind of like a guard tackle counter,
Mhm.
but they did it with two tight ends. So they're giving them a lot to think about. There was a nice play earlier in the game where they had DJ Moore lined up at fullback, right? And then on the
Mhm.
snap, he kind of went to the flat, which he didn't have to pick up a block, but just that he was there and he kind of went to the flat, he occupied the end man on the line of scrimmage. You didn't really
Mhm.
have to block him because you have to respect, well, what's this play? Why is DJ Moore here, right? So
Mhm.
they do so much stuff with personnel, with shifts, with motions. He makes the defense think. And if you're thinking, then you're not reacting. And if you're not reacting, that's when you make mistakes. So the Bears just caught him. They caught him off guard. They had an awesome game plan, and they went in there and they just, pushed him around.
How crazy is it though to see us have a competent
Yeah.
offensive staff to be able to draw plays up like this? When's the last time we've seen the Chicago Bears do this? Because if you want to get technical, even in the 2018 season, yeah, they were good, but they weren't scheming it up just like this, like they are now.
When you mentioned that, we talked about it on our show earlier today. Look, the Matt Nagy 2018 season, that was a defensive team. Like
Hmm.
they were pushed ahead because Vic Fangio's defense was phenomenal. The offense was okay, but you go back and look at the numbers. They were like 18th ranked offense, 19th ranked offense that season. Yeah, it's pretty good as far as Bears comparisons go, but we're talking about the Bears have a top five offense right now,
Hmm.
right? So, and the Matt Nagy stuff he did, none of it made sense. Like, yeah, it was they had some nice moments here and there. There were some big time plays here and there, but nothing was married to each other. Like the run and the pass game, they weren't cohesive. It was just a bunch of pass plays and a bunch of run plays. Nothing really made any sense together. And I do think if Matt Nagy has another chance to coach somewhere else as a head coach, I think he'll find some success. I think he learned from his mistakes
Hmm.
in Chicago, and obviously the Andy Reid tree is phenomenal. They do a lot of good stuff there, but yeah, a lot of the stuff just wasn't cohesive, didn't make sense. Everything Ben Johnson does make sense.
Of
Every play
course.
he runs, like even the plays that don't go for yards. Okay, well, so fans are all that play sucked. Okay, well, yeah, the defense they make plays too. It happens, but this unsuccessful play, if you go back and watch it back, you're like, oh, they had Rome Odunze going around in orbit motion behind it. Yeah, the run play was unsuccessful, but you can see how they can work off that play. Everything builds off everything else. This play
Mhm.
looks the same as that play, looks the same as this play. The play action looks the same. The formation comes out, and the formation may look the same as the stuff they, okay, when they're in this formation, they usually do this play. Well, not Ben Johnson. He has other stuff off it. So everything has a reason, and that's kind of why Ben Johnson is the real deal.
Of course. Now, what would you say has been the shift when it comes to that run game, Lester? Because obviously, the first couple of weeks, a lot of fans were saying, "Oh, get DeAndre Swift out of there. We
Yeah.
need to. Should we trade for a running back? What's up with our running back position?" But then you look at it, you see Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift both go for over a buck 20. Like, how is that possible after they were just calling for a new running back in town?
Yeah, it's that buy game. The buy game, they realized, they self scouted. They realized, okay, we got to do more of this with Manungai, more of this with Swift. And again, it's all about to marrying it to the scheme, and also the O line just had to come together, right? I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, they were in camp all year, but it takes time. Offensive line, it's a team within a team, and it takes those guys time to gel.
Hmm.
So yeah, you got an all pro and Joe Thuney. You got guys that you really paid a lot of money to kind of come in and impact the game, but they were still getting used to each other. So
Hmm.
so now Drew Dahlman does a combo block with Jonah Jackson. He knows when he's going to lead. Like he feels Jonah Jackson. He knows when Jackson has the guy, and he knows when it's okay to kind of fold to the second level and make his block.
Hmm.
And those things take time. And then, like I said, the bye came at a perfect time for this team. It allowed them. It gave them 4 games with each other. 4 games to understand what they had as an offense. Let's have the bye. We'll reassess it. And we'll go back and we'll tack the rest of the season. And that's what they did.
Of course. Of course. Now, there was one thing that stuck out to me that Ben Johnson said that just keeps me fired up. Yes, they won against the Eagles, but you see what Ben Johnson said is, look, we're still not there yet. We still have a
Yeah.
lot to work on. And to piggyback off that question, what do you think are some things that him and his staff will be discussing with Caleb when it comes to his accuracy, his decision making, his footing, and maybe his nervousness? Because at times we see where Caleb Williams get happy feet and he's just all over the place.
Yeah, they talked about that in the broadcast. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he mentioned it that a few times Caleb's feet were not in the right place, and that's again, it all comes with reps. It all comes with timing. It all comes with constantly repping these plays, and until it's second nature. I talk about how the defense, when they're thinking, they're not reacting. Same thing on
Mhm,
an offense. When you're still thinking about your steps, you're still thinking about your reads. You can't just play. So Caleb's still doing some of that in this offense. It's a really intricate offense. It's something that takes some time, but I thought he played pretty good football against the Eagles. There were like at least 4 plays where he just threw it away, right? Just
mhm,
to either save a sack, threw it out of bounds. He threw it in the dirt because the screen wasn't there. Those are smart plays you want your quarterback to make. And of course, those are going to reflect poorly on his completion percentage, right? And then of course he
mhm.
had the interception, which is it's a bad play by Caleb, but and that was a great play by that defensive lineman. Just kind of jumped up and snatched it out of the air. Again, defensive guys get paid to make plays. It's going to happen, right? And
Yes,
then
sir.
so these things happen in a game, and I think they just got to keep going the same direction, and that's what they are. I mean, Caleb wants to be coached hard. Ben wants to coach him hard, and they'll keep getting there. And I think that they're realizing who they are as a team. They have a great identity. I
Mhm,
think Colston Loveland is a fantastic talent. I think the tight end usage has been great these last few weeks, and I think they're going to lean into that, especially now as they're getting into the end of the season. Right, teams are kind of wore out,
mhm.
and if the Bears are like, look, like the Eagles had a tough game against the Cowboys last week. Bears came out and said, okay, if you guys are wore out, let's just keep coming at you, like body blow after body blow, and they keep attacking them with that heavy personnel. And I think that's what the Bears will do as the season goes on. They'll start wearing teams out and just punishing them. I mean,
Of course.
this is what we want. When Bears fans have a physically dominant team right now, and it's kind of cool.
Of course, of course. Now, obviously, we're a couple games left out of the season, and year one. How soon until you see Caleb cleaning up the accuracy issues that he has? Granted, yesterday a couple of receivers did slip yesterday
Yeah.
too. Like so, of course, a couple of those really weren't on him because the receiver slipped. But there are some plays that he makes where it's on him. He's like, you got to put that on in money, Caleb.
Yeah, he had a few plays yesterday where he missed. He had a few throws again he sailed, but you know, again, look at the conditions. It was very windy. They talk about it the entire broadcast. Every time the team kicked off, you had to have someone holding the ball because it was
Mhm,
going to blow it off the tee. So it affected Jalen Hurts too. You saw a lot of his passes kind of sail and get away from him. There was
mhm.
a couple plays where you're like, oh, was that ball tipped? And then he kind of went back and shot a replay, and it's like, no, it just as the ball was going, the wind just took it. It's just it's very windy. The Eagles kicker missed a field goal. He missed an extra point, so the wind
Mhm,
affected that game. But look, he just got to keep working on it. Keep working on his fundamentals. Keep plugging away. And I have no reason to think that he won't get there because
mhm.
he works too hard and he wants to be great. And you can't be great unless you're coached hard. And everything about this team is like just really everything's pointing in the right direction, right? Everything's going. They're all on the same path. They all have the same vision, and there's no question in my mind where this team is headed.
So it's safe to say Caleb Williams is that guy and is going to be that guy for Chicago.
Yeah, I see no reason why he shouldn't be. That's why Ben came here. He wanted to coach Caleb, and
Mhm,
all those physical traits he saw coming out of college, all those traits we saw the big plays last year. And he obviously said, "Hey, I got to clean up my sacks. I gotta be smarter with the ball." And we're seeing that. I mean, I don't think last year, yeah, he threw it away on occasion, but he's really more cognizant now of when just to dirt it. If the play's not there, just throw it in the dirt. It's on a screen. If a play's not there and you get outside the pocket, just throw it out of bounds. So he's aware of these things, and he may not get to that 70% complete percentage goal this year, but
mhm,
at some point he'll get there. And plus, also look, Ben Johnson wants to push the ball downfield. He
mhm.
wants explosive. Yeah, he wants to be a powerful running game and wear teams out, but he also wants you to worry about the explosive plays. So that's just part of the DNA of Ben Johnson. It's old school, yeah, but he also wants to make big chunk plays because that's how you beat teams.
Of course. Now, do you see Caleb Williams hitting that 4,000 yard mark?
Maybe. I mean, it's maybe not this year. I think he a lot depends on game script, right? The Bears have been in some close games.
Mhm,
They're not really playing catch up much. And Ben Johnson, look, he said he thought he called too many pass plays yesterday, right in the game. He said that we had a chance to go back and think about it and look at the numbers, and he's like, yeah, I probably called too many pass plays. So I don't think anybody cares. I mean, it's funny because like fans were like, oh man, you got to get the 4,000, right? You got to get the 30 touchdowns, and I don't think Caleb cares. I don't think Ben cares. I don't think the team cares. I think it's just a very, very team orientated team, right? Like all they want is to win. They play for each other. You could tell how much they really like each other. And I don't think they care. As a fan, yeah, I want to see it because I'm tired of seeing these damn graphics, right? Oh, the
mhm.
Bears are the only franchise. Who cares? They're 9-3. Let's just get that dub.
Yes, sir. Last offensive question before we switch sides of the ball. Piggybacking off of the whole, we need a new running back, we should have drafted, or whatever the case may be. Let's talk a little bit about Colston Loveland, because a lot of fans were saying, "Oh, we should have drafted Warren. We should have drafted Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren is having a big season. We wasted a pick on Colston Loveland." What has it been that has had him able to succeed since the first couple of weeks of the season, Lester?
Yeah, it's funny that how people are with the hot takes, right?
Mhm,
The hot take people on ESPN or Fox, wherever it is, or then you got your fans. Of course, they look at the numbers. They Tyler Warren is so much better. Okay, give it time. Give it time and let him get incorporated into the offense. I mean, the Colts offense, a lot of it's run through Warren because he's probably
mhm,
one of their better players in that team. Colson Lovin, I think, is a fantastic receiver. He may have the best hands on the entire team. He's just
mhm,
really, really good receiver. But man, he is blocking his butt off too. You watch that film and he pops.
mhm,
I don't think it. Like I knew he was okay as a blocker, but I didn't think he was like this. He is a very good, willing blocker. He sticks his nose in there.
mhm,
So I think he's just getting more comfortable in the scheme. He had a slow start because of the injuries, and then he had another injury right in the middle of the season there early on. So I just think he's just coming into his own because he's just comfortable, and I think the offense is comfortable working some stuff through him, and I think Caleb now trusts him too, right? I mean, you see Caleb kind of going his way a little more, and I think if you're going to trust a guy to make a play, I think Colson Loveland's the guy you want to trust.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Switching sides of the ball now, Lester. What were some things that you saw from the defense that were able to have them keeping Jalen Hurts in check, keeping AJ Brown in check, and that first touchdown by AJ Brown, Lester, he pushed off the defender. He put both hands on the shoulder and like threw him out of the way to go up and make that catch.
AJ Brown's a really good football player. He's going to get his right. You can't
Hmm.
stop him the whole game. And I thought Nashawn Wright was in good position. Like when he just kind of mistimed his jump a little bit. I think it might have been a again, we talked about this on the show earlier today. We think this might have been a either a bad pass or the wind took it, right? Because kind of
Hmm.
AJ Brown adjusted later. Nashawn Wright kind of adjusted quicker, and I think it kind of hurt him overall. But yeah, I mean, it's just a Dennis Allen, man. He just keeps working miracles with this depleted Bears team. Again, no linebackers. He got a couple defensive backs back. So what does he do? Plays nickel and dime most of the game. I mean,
Hmm.
he played DeMarco Jackson linebacker. He played 100% of the reps, but they only played two linebackers, and the other one was Amin Agbanbiga, and he only played like half the snaps. So C.J. Gardner Johnson played all the reps at nickel. They
Hmm.
rotated Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon in there. Neither one played the whole game. They rotated those guys, so they were really smart with it. And the Eagles couldn't take advantage. You figured that, look, if you're going to play nickel and dime, okay, that probably means you a lot of Saquon Barkley or to run the ball down the Bears' throat.
Hmm.
The Bears couldn't do it. Part of it is because Kyler Gordon and CJ Johnson Gardner are just, yeah, they're defensive backs, but they're physical, right? So
Hmm.
they were up there too. They're in their run fits. They're playing smart. So just Dennis Allen, man, he keeps doing a good job. And look, we talk about Ben Johnson as a play caller. Dennis Allen's one of the best too, and he's going to be in Chicago for several years.
Hmm. Now, what did you see from Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon? Anything out of the blue that you saw that made you think that maybe they're still not ready to come back, or do you think they're back in full swing? Obviously, they were on a pitch count as well too. What were some things that you saw there, Lester?
Yeah, the nice thing is neither one did anything. I mean, it was kind of like they weren't expected to do much. I think Jalen Johnson, they each had one tackle, right? So, but
Hmm.
they were there, but you know, nothing negatively stood out, nothing really positively stood out. There was a nice play by Jalen Johnson where
On a
I
tight end.
thought, yeah, I thought he may have got his hand on the ball, but it was just a good play by him, just kind of staying with it. He didn't get a pass defended, but yeah, just smart play from them. They were assignment sound. They were where they're supposed to be at all times. They, like I said, as far as Gordon goes, when he was playing inside, and look, Gordon played outside too. He was playing a lot of
Hmm.
outside corners, so they rotated them. They were keeping them fresh. Tyreek Stevenson, of course, was missing. So I think moving forward, you may see the Bears rotate at corner because I think they have, Tyler Stevens is playing good football. Of course, Nashawn Wright is playing, he's playing at a Pro Bowl level. So you can't really take him off the field much. So I think you may see the Bears rotate these guys because now they have enough bodies where you can do that. And with Gardner Johnson, I mean, he's a damn good nickelback, but so is
Hmm.
Kyler Gordon. But so you maybe play more dime. So I think they're going to be really smart with these defensive backs and let them all play and keep them all fresh down the playoff push.
Now, what was going through your head, Lester, when the Bears were one of the very few teams to be able to stop the tush push, where Nashawn Wright, who you just spoke highly of, comes in and strips the ball from Jalen Hurts?
Dennis Allen said he had a plan. They asked him, how are you going to stop the tush push? He said, we have a plan. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that was the plan, having Deshaun Wright, sneak around and get his hand in there. And that was smart. I mean, this is only the second time since they've been running the tush push regularly that they've fumbled on that play. And
Hmm.
Philly fans are mad. Oh, they should have blown the play dead. Well, I mean, he was still up and moving.
Yeah.
He was still trying to get those yards. So look, Nashawn Wright is not the biggest dude, but man, he muscled it out of there.
Of
Jalen Hurts
course.
is all those videos of him, squatting 500 pounds, whatever it was. I mean, he's a big, strong quarterback, and
Hmm.
Nashawn Wright took his lunch.
Yes. Speaking of defensive backs, I saw that Jalen Johnson was asked. They said, "Oh, why weren't you shadowing AJ Brown the entire game?" Yeah, yeah. He said, "Hey, I'm still working my way back being healthy and all that, that wasn't asked of me. If it was asked of me and it was something that I was able to do physically, I would have done that. But I'm still easing my way back into her. I'm just not there just yet.
Yeah. See, like I said, team player. He'll do what he's asked of him. And look, how
Mhm.
cool is this? This is his first ever winning season as a Bear. He's been
That's
around for a
crazy.
while. Him and Cole Kmet, two longest tenured Bears, right? And
Hmm.
they're finally going to taste a winning season for the first time
Yes,
ever.
sir. It feels. I bet you it feels good. Bet
Yep.
you it feels good. Now, obviously, we're not going to speak too much on the Packers game because, but that's who we play next. We'll discuss that on our next barely watch. But just tell us a little bit, Lester. What do you expect out of that game, without saying too much?
Tough game. I mean, it's going to be the Bears. Look, if the Bears are going to go to Lambeau and win, they got to be physical. They have to out physical them, and Micah Parsons, he's a game wrecker, right? So, how do you stop a game rushing defensive, a game wrecking defensive end? You run at him.
Hmm.
That's always been the book, right? So, I would expect the Bears to try and run the ball and do what we just saw them do against Philly. I mean, if they can run the ball as good, I mean, let's do it again. Let's go to Lambeau and watch them get that win.
As we get ready to close out this phenomenal episode, Lester, do you think that's the one that we take, or do you think it'll wait till we get back to Chicago to be able to emerge victorious? Or do you see us winning both?
Man, it's tough, right? Because look, I mean, we're not used to the Bears being good.
Yes.
So how are we supposed to react? Is this real? Yeah, I mean they just beat the Steelers, first place Steelers. They beat the Eagles, first
That doesn't
place.
count. That doesn't count. They
Yeah.
played it without Rodgers.
So you're like, man, this team is pretty good. So why can't they go to Lambeau and play like this and beat them? I don't see no reason why they look. The Packers will be favored, right? I mean, that's just the home team.
Mhm.
They've been there, they've done that. But I see no reason why the Bears can't go out there and sneak away with a win.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here first on Barely Watch Podcast. I'm your host with the most, Devon Booker, and that was Mr. Lester Wiltfong Jr. Lester, we greatly appreciate you having some time.
Anytime, bear
Yes,
down.
sir.